Did you know a woman almost never says she wants you? She shows it in the softness of her eyes, the tremble in her voice, the way she moves just a little closer. The problem is most men completely miss this silent language.
Have you ever felt it? That moment when a woman looks at you and something in the air changes. Not a smile, not a word, just a shift, subtle, electric, undeniable. Most men miss it, not because the signs aren't there, but because they're too busy listening to what she says, instead of watching what her soul whispers. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men never learn. A woman almost never says, "I want you." She doesn't speak it. She shows it through signals so quiet, so delicate, that only a man who's truly present can read them. Women reveal desire the same way the ocean reveals a storm, not with thunder, but with a change in the tide. A longer glance, a softer voice, a step closer that she pretends was accidental. Tiny fragments of truth she releases, only to the man she hopes is wise enough to see them. If you've ever felt a pull toward a woman but couldn't decode her intentions, if you've ever sensed warmth from her but doubted yourself, if you've ever wondered, is she giving me a signal or am I imagining it? Then stay with me, because today I'm going to reveal what most men will go their entire lives blind to. The invisible language women use when they want to give themselves emotionally, physically, spiritually, but don't say it out loud. These aren't cliché. These aren't games. These are the hidden markers of feminine desire that only a grounded, controlled, masculine man can recognize. By the end of this video, you won't guess anymore. You won't wonder. You'll see, clearly, confidently, instinctively. Let's begin. You can learn more about a woman's desire from 3 seconds of eye contact than from 3 months of conversation. Because the eyes betray what the lips refuse to speak. And when a woman wants to give herself to you emotionally, physically, spiritually, her eyes are the very first part of her that loses discipline. Most men look at a woman's eyes the way they look at a sunset. They see the beauty, but they miss the message. But a man who is calm, centered, and grounded, he sees the shift instantly. It doesn't happen all at once. It begins with something small, so small that a distracted man will miss it entirely. It starts with a glance that lingers just a little too long. Not long enough to be obvious, but long enough that it vibrates with meaning. A woman who is merely polite looks at you briefly and then moves on. But a woman who is drawn to you looks at you as if she's trying to memorize you. She steals pieces of you with her eyes, your posture, your presence, your energy, and stores them somewhere only she can reach. It's not curiosity. It's not admiration. It's something deeper, an emotional doorway slowly opening, hoping you have the awareness to step through it. Most men assume she's just being friendly. They assume the glance was accidental. They shrug it off because they haven't learned to read the feminine. Women are subtle by nature. They're not taught to announce their interest. They're taught to hide it until they feel safe. So their eyes become the only place where their true intentions leak through. When she looks at you with desire, you'll notice 2 layers in her gaze. One layer is warmth. The other is fear. Warmth because she feels something opening inside her. Fear because she's terrified. You might see too much. It's a war between wanting to be seen and wanting to stay guarded. This tension creates a very specific kind of eye contact, the soft gaze. It's not the wide-eyed excitement you see in the movies. It's quieter, more controlled. But that control cracks, just for a moment. And in that moment, you'll notice her pupils soften, her eyelids lower slightly, and her expression shift into something almost vulnerable. It's the feminine revealing itself not aggressively, but gently, a silent confession. When a woman wants to give herself to you, her eyes do something else. 2, they return to you, again and again, even when she looks away, even when she pretends she's busy, even when she turns her head in another direction, she always comes back. Return glances are powerful. They're not accidental, they're ancient. Women evolved to signal interest through subtlety, through rhythms of attention that only a perceptive man can detect. If you catch her looking at you and then she looks away quickly, that's not disinterest. That's not rejection. That's a crack in her armor. She's saying, without words, I hope you saw that, but I hope you didn't. This duality is the essence of feminine desire, but here is where most men ruin everything. They see the glance, they feel the spark, and they immediately act thirsty. They lean in, they get excited, they give away their center, they chase, and just like that, the magic collapses. Because desire in a woman grows in silence, in space, in the unknown, not in pressure. A grounded man doesn't chase that glance. He holds his frame. He receives the signal without reacting to it. He stays calm, composed, and present. And because he doesn't break the moment, she feels safe enough to open the doorway a little wider. The eyes are also where a woman tests you. You'll notice moments where she looks directly into your eyes, just to see if you flinch, if you break, if you get nervous, if you lose control of your breath. She's not doing this to intimidate you. She's doing it to measure you, to see whether your presence is strong enough to hold hers, to see whether you're a man whose mind is anchored, or a boy whose emotions drift with every breeze. If you can hold her gaze without collapsing into neediness, without trying to impress her, without trying to perform, you send a message louder than words. I see you, and I see through you. Women melt when they feel seen, not for their beauty, but for their intention, for their energy, for their emotional language. Most women have never been looked at by a man who understands them. They've only been stared at by men who want something. This is why your presence matters. A woman's eyes open only to men who feel safe, grounded, patient, and emotionally intelligent. Her glance is not a promise, it's an invitation. And an invitation can be withdrawn if you rush toward it. There's another kind of gaze you'll notice, the one filled with questions. She looks at you as if she's asking, are you the man I think you are? Can I trust what I'm feeling? Will you see me without me having to explain myself? This is the gaze most men misinterpret, because they don't realize that desire in women is layered with evaluation. She wants you, but only if you're worthy of what she wants to give. A woman can desire many men, but she only gives herself fully, deeply, vulnerably to a man whose eyes tell her, I do not need you, but I can choose you. That is the masculine polarity, that unlocks feminine surrender. So when her eyes soften, linger, return, question, or test, she's not just looking at you. She's revealing the first doorway into her inner world. A doorway she only opens for the man she hopes is paying attention. And if you can read that first shift, you won't need words. Because the eyes reveal what the heart is too shy to say. She wants you, but she's waiting to see if you're the man she can safely want. If her eyes are the doorway, then her voice is the key. She slips into your hand without ever touching you. A woman's voice changes around a man she wants, not because she plans it, not because she's playing games, but because desire alters her physiology. It softens her. It slows her. It reveals her. Most men hear what a woman says. A masculine man hears how she says it. There is a music in her voice that only emerges when she feels drawn to you, a subtle shift in tone, rhythm, and warmth that she couldn't fake even if she tried. Women speak differently when they feel safe, and they speak very differently when they feel desire. You'll notice it the moment she begins to open to you. Her voice loses its edges. The harshness disappears. The volume drops slightly, and the melody rises. It's almost as if she's talking from a softer part of her being, a place she doesn't give access to easily. She may not even realize she's doing it, but you will if you're present. Pay attention to the warmth in her tone. Women don't create warmth for men they don't feel anything for. Their voice becomes smooth, like velvet brushing against your skin, inviting connection without ever saying the words. When she's talking to a man she doesn't want, her voice is practical, neutral, sharp, or surface level. It carries information, not emotion. But with you, she speaks differently. Her tone holds a softness that says, "Stay here. Stay in this moment with me." Some men mistake this for politeness. They think she's just being kind, friendly, approachable, but they're wrong. A woman's voice becomes nurturing, melodic, almost fragile, only when she feels something inside her shifting, when she wants to be close, but can't admit it yet. You'll notice other micro-changes too. 1. The pause before she speaks. A woman who desires you often takes a breath before responding, not because she's uncertain, but because she wants to say the right thing. She wants the moment to linger. She wants to feel you inside the silence. Silence is intimacy, and the feminine uses silence to invite closeness. 2. The suddenly softer replies. She's talking to others, normally, but when she speaks to you, her voice drops half a tone. It becomes intimate without being inappropriate, subtle without being shy. It's the vocal equivalent of leaning closer. 3. The almost whisper. When a woman lowers her voice around you, she's not hiding. She's drawing you in. She's creating a private space between the two of you, a bubble where the rest of the world fades out. And inside that bubble, her desire grows. 4. The nervous laugh. There's something magical about the way women laugh when they're attracted to a man. It's not loud or exaggerated. It's soft, delicate, almost as if she's trying to hide how much you affect her. Her laugh becomes a confession. It's her emotions tripping over themselves, trying not to show too much. 5. The warm echo of your name. A woman says your name differently when she wants you. Less formal, more playful, more intimate. Names carry energy, and the way she says yours is a signal in itself. When she stretches your name, or smiles through it, or says it as if she's tasting it, she's not just calling you, she's inviting you. But here's the part that separates masculine men from boys. A boy hears this shift and gets excited. He misreads friendliness for guaranteed interest. He reacts, oversteps, leans too far forward. A masculine man, he listens without losing himself. He feels the warmth, but stays grounded. He receives her softness without becoming soft himself. Because a woman's voice doesn't just reveal desire, it tests your energy. She wants to know if her softness makes you unstable. She wants to know if her warmth melts you or awakens you. Women reveal interest through vulnerability, but they reveal who they trust through the man's response to that vulnerability. If you can hold your presence when her tone shifts, if you can stay calm, confident, unshaken, then she feels safe. She feels understood. She feels something inside her melt into permission. Her voice softens because she hopes your energy will meet hers. She lowers her tone because she wants to feel the gravity of your presence. She slows her words because she wants time to deepen. And here's the truth. Most men never realize. A woman's voice becomes feminine only in the presence of a man who is masculine. She doesn't speak this way to everyone. She doesn't sound like this in every conversation. Her softness isn't random. It's a response to you, to your composure, your confidence, your stillness. When she wants to give herself to you, her voice is no longer just communication. It becomes an invitation, not to her body, but to her inner world. She's saying, without saying, I want to be seen. I want to be understood. I want to feel close to you. And if you're patient enough to hear the music beneath her words, you'll realize something powerful. Her tone reveals what her mind tries to hide, that she feels something real, something growing, something she doesn't yet have the courage to say. A woman's voice doesn't lie. It reveals the connection she's too guarded to confess aloud. And if you can hear that shift, you'll know exactly what to do next. A woman's mind may hesitate. Her words may stay guarded. Her logic may tell her to slow down, pull back, act normal. But her body tells the truth long before she does. If her eyes are the doorway, and her voice is the key, then her body is the confession she can't silence. Most men miss this completely. They listen to what she says. I'm not sure. I'm just being friendly. I don't know what I want. But they ignore the one thing that can't lie: the direction her body moves when you walk into the room. When a woman wants to give herself to you emotionally or physically, her body betrays her restraint. She gravitates toward you without realizing it. She orbits you without intending to. She leans, shifts, angles, and adjusts in ways that seem innocent, but are anything except innocent. This is not flirting. This is biology. Attraction pulls her like gravity. 1. The near touch, when she hovers close enough to feel you. A woman who feels nothing for you keeps her distance. She maintains space. Her movements are efficient, clean, purposeful. But a woman who feels desire, she enters your space without realizing she's doing it. She stands closer than necessary. She walks past you slowly. Her shoulder grazes yours by accident. Her hand brushes yours without meaning to. Her knee aligns with yours when you sit together. She isn't trying to seduce you. She's trying to feel you, to sense your presence, to taste your aura, to experience you without taking a risk. The feminine doesn't announce desire. It approaches desire. 2. The lean-in when her body talks even while her words pretend not to. Pay attention to what her torso does when you talk. Not her face. Not her words. Her torso. If her upper body leans toward you even slightly, even subtly, she's opening herself. This is vulnerability in physical form. A woman's torso never leans toward a man she doesn't want. That movement is ancient, instinctive, encoded. She's not leaning closer to see you better. She's leaning closer because she feels you better that way. 3. The angle of attraction. Attraction isn't always direct. Sometimes it's angled. Her feet point toward you. Her hips face your direction. Her shoulders align with you, even when her head is turned elsewhere. Most men think body language is about big gestures. It's not. It's about alignment. The body aligns with the person it desires. She could be talking to someone else, acting busy, reading something, pretending to be occupied, yet every part of her body continues to angle toward you. This is feminine longing at its purest quiet. Shy, instinctive. 4. The softening of her body around you. When a woman isn't comfortable, her body stiffens, her arms cross, her shoulders tense. She becomes guarded and sharp. But with you, her body softens, her movements slow down, her gestures become fluid, her breathing deepens, her posture relaxes, her hips loosen, her arms fall to her sides. She becomes softer. She is not performing. She is surrendering bit by bit, moment by moment, breath by breath. This softness is not weakness, it's trust. A woman's body only softens for 2 kinds of men: the man she feels safe with and the man she desires. When you are both, the shift is unmistakable. 5. The initiated touches. There are touches she regrets instantly, and touches she rehearses without realizing it. The light brush of her fingers on your forearm, the playful push on your shoulder, the moment she adjusts your collar, the dust she pretends to remove from your shirt, the excuse to fix your necklace, your tie, your hair. These aren't random. These are tests, not of your interest, but of your energy. The feminine moves first physically to measure the masculine spiritually. She wants to know, does he stay present? Does he get flustered? Does he tense up? Does he melt? Does he lose composure? Does he meet my softness with strength? Your reaction to her touch tells her more about you than any words you could say. 6. The body that doesn't want to leave. Watch what happens when the conversation ends. A woman who feels nothing leaves fast, efficient, clean exit, no lingering. But a woman who wants you stays just a second longer. Then another, then another. She gathers her things slower. She hesitates before turning away. She walks away, but she turns her head back. Her steps slow down. Her goodbye drags. Her body doesn't want to leave you, even if she forces it to. That pause, that 1 second hesitation, is desire in its rawest form. It's her body whispering the truth her mouth won't say. The Stoic truth about women's body language. The feminine speaks through movement, not declarations, not direct statements, but subtle shifts designed to be noticed only by a man with presence, a man who is grounded, calm, centered, and impossible to unbalance. When a woman's body moves closer to you, it is never an accident. It is a message wrapped in softness, wrapped in caution, wrapped in instinct. And if you pay attention, if you read these signals without reacting like a boy who's starving for attention, she will slowly let her guard down. Because nothing pulls a woman closer than a man who can feel her energy without losing control of his own. Her body tells the truth first. Always. The question is whether you're man enough to notice. A woman never gives herself all at once. Not her heart, not her secrets, not her vulnerability, and certainly not her desire. She gives herself in fragments, small, carefully measured pieces of her inner world. Pieces she reveals only to the man she hopes will understand their weight. Most men think a woman opens up suddenly, like some dramatic confession. But that's not how the feminine works. Women don't unfold, they unlayer. Slowly, softly, intentionally. And the man who doesn't pay attention misses everything. Because when a woman wants to give herself to you, she begins revealing tiny truths, tiny vulnerabilities, tiny cracks in her armor that seem harmless on the surface, but are actually profound invitations. 1. The details she shares. Accidentally, it starts with something so small you almost dismiss it. A memory she never tells other people. A childhood story she didn't plan to mention. A fear she slips into a sentence without thinking. A preference. A dream. A wound. She'll mention something like, "I don't know why I'm telling you this." And that sentence alone is a confession. She knows. She feels it. She senses the pull. She's not talking to you because she's bored. She's not sharing because she needs attention. She's revealing a piece of herself to see if you honor it, to see if you understand it, to see if you hold it gently instead of trying to use it. 2. The late-night messages. A woman doesn't message a man late at night unless she trusts him or desires him. And sometimes, both. Night strips away the fences. At night, she's softer, more honest, more herself. So when she reaches out at 11 p.m. or 1 a.m. just to share something random, something funny, something meaningless, or something emotional, it's not meaningless. It's deliberate, even if she won't admit it. It's her saying, "Here, this is another piece of me. Do you know what to do with it?" Women never test a man's desire, they test his depth. The late-night message isn't about attraction. It's about connection. It's about emotional intimacy. It's about whether you can meet her in the quiet moments where she stops performing. If she's giving you her nighttime self, she's giving you the unfiltered version of her. 3. The personal jokes she uses like codes. When a woman begins creating inside jokes with you, she's not just being playful. She's building something private, a small emotional world only the two of you share. These jokes become codes, doorways, into a deeper level of intimacy. She'll tease you about something small, laugh at something only you two understand. Repeat a phrase that only makes sense in your presence. This is her way of weaving connection without verbalizing the desire beneath it. The feminine bonds through shared emotional language, and when she creates that language with you, she's forming attachment. 4. The micro-vulnerabilities. Women don't reveal their deepest wounds first. They reveal little ones, little flaws, little insecurities, little confessions that seem insignificant. She might say things like, "I don't usually tell people this," or "I'm not great at trusting people," or "Sometimes I feel like I'm too much." These aren't complaints. They're invitations to emotional leadership. She's giving you tiny openings to see if you can handle her truth. Not react to it. Not fix it. Just hold it. If you respond calmly, without judgment, without lecturing, without trying to impress her with your sensitivity, she'll reveal more. Because the feminine doesn't open fully to a man who reacts emotionally. She opens to a man who stays steady when she shows imperfection. 5. The private questions. A woman who wants to give herself to you doesn't ask surface-level questions. She asks the emotional ones, the reflective ones, the ones that reveal she wants to understand you beneath the mask. Questions like, what makes you happiest? What scares you the most? Do you ever feel misunderstood? What do you really want in life? These questions aren't curiosity, they're connection. She's not trying to gather information, she's trying to see the man behind the composure. To see if your inner world matches the strength she senses in your outer world. Women fall for the depth of a man's mind long before they fall for the shape of his body. 6. The emotional breadcrumbs. Every woman who desires a man drops emotional breadcrumbs, not because she wants him to chase her blindly, but because she wants to know if he can read her without needing her to spell everything out. The feminine reveals itself through hints, not announcements. When she shows you small fragments of herself, a fear, a dream, an insecurity, a désir, a confession, a laugh, a secret, she's studying your reaction. She wants to know, can this man handle my truth? Can he handle my softness? Can he handle my intensity? Can he handle the parts of me I hide from the world? And if you respond with presence, not excitement, not fear, not arrogance, but presence, something powerful happens inside her. She begins to trust you, deeply, naturally, instinctively. And feminine trust is the foundation of feminine surrender, the stoic truth underneath it all. A woman reveals herself in fragments because she wants to know if you're the kind of man who can hold the whole of her. Not just the beauty, not just the sweetness, not just the charm, but the vulnerability, the fear, the desire, the longing, the emotional depth she hides from everyone else. If she gives you a small piece of herself, and you hold it with calm strength, she will give you more, and more, and more, until eventually the fragments stop being fragments, and she gives you everything, not because you asked, not because you chased, but because you proved, with your presence, that you're the man who can receive her fully. If the eyes reveal desire, If the voice reveals softness and the body reveals truth, then the push-pull energy reveals what she's terrified to say out loud. I want you, but I don't know if I'm safe with you yet. Every woman who desires a man deeply goes through a silent internal conflict, a war between the part of her that wants to move toward him and the part of her that's terrified of wanting anything at all. This war creates the emotional dance every masculine man must learn to read. Most men misunderstand this dance. They see the pull and think she's playing games. They see the push and think she lost interest. But a woman rarely pushes because she's done. She pushes because she cares. She withdraws because she's opening. She tests because she's afraid of choosing wrong. The feminine doesn't test the men she doesn't want. She tests the man she hopes might be the one. The pull, when she moves toward you with her heart before her words. The pull is the soft part. It's the sweet part. The part that feels warm and effortless, the natural closeness that appears when she likes you more than she meant to. This is when she laughs a little too freely, leans a little too close, shares a little more than she planned, lets her guard drop in ways she can't control, looks at you with an openness she didn't prepare for in these moments. She is present with you, not with her fear, not with her past, not with her doubts, with you. This is the feminine in flow, unfiltered, blooming, vulnerable. But that very vulnerability creates the next phase. 2. The push, when she pulls back because the feeling scares her. The push happens right after the pull, almost like a reflex. You'll notice a sudden shift. She becomes distant for a moment. She responds slower. She gets quiet. She acts colder. She creates space out of nowhere. She looks away more. She hesitates. Men panic here. Boys chase. Insecure men overreact. But a masculine man knows exactly what's happening. She isn't withdrawing from you. She's withdrawing from the intensity inside her. The feminine fears giving too much too quickly. Her heart remembers every wound she ever received. Her mind imagines the risk of being misread. Her body remembers the pain of trusting the wrong man. So she pushes not to stop you, but to stabilize herself. This isn't rejection. This is recalibration. 3. Teasing, the soft mask she uses to hide real emotion. A woman who wants you but fears exposing her desire often uses teasing as camouflage. She makes fun of you lightly. She pokes at your flaws playfully. She says things like, "You think you're smooth. Don't you?" or "Wow." Humble, much, or "You're impossible." Men think teasing is disapproval, but teasing is often protection, because if she jokes, she doesn't have to admit the truth. You're affecting her more than she expected. Teasing is feminine longing dressed up as humor, and behind every playful jab is the question, can you see through this? 4. Emotional hot-cold, the push-pull cycle most men misinterpret. Every man has seen this pattern. Day 1. She's open. Day 2. She's distant. Day 3. She's warm again. Day 4. She's guarded. And you think, what changed? Did I do something wrong? Here's the truth. Nothing changed. She's just feeling something real. The feminine becomes inconsistent externally when she feels consistent attraction internally. Her fear and desire pull her in opposite directions. I want him. I'm afraid of wanting him. This is the emotional conflict she won't explain, because she doesn't fully understand it herself. 5. Why she tests you during the push-pull. Every pull is a risk. Every push is a shield. Every test is a question. Do your feelings change when mine fluctuate? She's not trying to manipulate you. She's trying to measure you. She needs to know, are you stable even when she's not? Does your energy collapse when hers wavers? Do you stay grounded when she gets emotional? Do you remain masculine when she becomes soft? Are you consistent even when she's inconsistent? Because a woman doesn't surrender to a man who reacts. She only surrenders to a man who remains. 6. Your response determines whether she opens or closes. When she pulls back, the insecure man reaches. When she teases, the reactive man gets offended. When she becomes cold, the needy man tries to overcompensate. When she withdraws, the weak man panics. But the masculine man, he stays unmoved, not cold, not dismissive, not arrogant, just calm. He doesn't chase, he doesn't complain, he doesn't pressure, he doesn't punish. He simply holds his center, and something profound happens inside her. When he does, her fear quiets, her desire grows, her guard softens, her feminine opens, her trust deepens, because she realizes, this man doesn't need reassurance. This man doesn't lose himself. This man doesn't break when I wobble. This man can hold me. And that realization is the gateway to feminine surrender. The Stoic truth about push-pull. Push-pull isn't drama. It isn't manipulation. It isn't game playing. It is feminine instinct at work. Desire pulls her toward you. Fear pushes her away. And the man who responds with steadiness, not emotion, becomes the man she feels safest giving herself to. The feminine doesn't want a perfect man. She wants a present man, a grounded man, a man whose energy she can lean into without worrying it will collapse beneath her weight. When you understand the push-pull, you stop reacting to her behavior and start reading her heart. And when you can read her heart, she no longer hides it. There comes a moment, quiet, fragile, almost invisible, when a woman stops signaling with her eyes, stops hinting with her voice, stops testing with push-pull energy, and instead, she enters the most intimate stage of feminine desire, the silent invitation. This is the phase where she no longer tries to impress you, no longer tries to guard herself, no longer tries to control the way she appears. Here, energy shifts, her presence softens, her walls loosen, and her silence becomes loud. Most men associate intimacy with words, but the feminine opens in silence, not speech. She doesn't say, I want to be close. She shows it by how she exists around you. 1. Silence that doesn't feel empty. When a woman is comfortable with you, truly comfortable, she doesn't need to fill every moment with conversation. She can sit next to you quietly. And instead of awkwardness, there's warmth. Instead of pressure, there's ease. Instead of distance, there's presence. This silence isn't empty. It's full of emotion she hasn't voiced, full of connection she hasn't named, full of curiosity, désir, surrender. A woman does not give this silence to men she doesn't trust. Her silence is a gift, a quiet permission to step deeper into her world. 2. The lingering moment before she leaves. Watch her when the conversation ends. A woman who feels nothing leaves quickly, a simple goodbye, a fast step, a clean exit. But a woman who's giving a silent invitation, she lingers. Her body hesitates. Her eyes soften. Her breath slows. She stands there not because she has nothing else to do, but because she wants you to feel what she's not ready to say. It's her way of whispering, "I'm not ready to walk away from you yet." This 1-second pause is the feminine asking, "Do you feel this too?" 3. Energy that moves toward you without touching you. Her body doesn't have to touch you for you to feel her presence. A woman giving a silent invitation radiates a specific energy, soft, open, warm, that wraps around you like invisible gravity. She sits closer. She tilts her body toward you. She breathes in sync with your rhythm. She relaxes her shoulders. Her movements slow and become more fluid. Her whole being becomes receptive. She is not offering her body. She is offering her comfort. And comfort is a deeper form of intimacy than touch. 4. The look that asks a question without words. There is a gaze women give only once they feel safe. Once they've decided they want you. Once they've let the walls fall. A soft, vulnerable, slightly hesitant look that holds both "I want you" and "please don't hurt me." This look is not flirtation, not seduction, not performance. It's surrender trying to take form. It says, "I'm opening. Are you the man I can open to?" Most men react too quickly. They rush in. They get excited. They push the moment too hard. And the invitation disappears. A masculine man doesn't rush. He receives the look. He holds the moment quietly. He lets her feel that her vulnerability is safe with him. This steadiness is what turns attraction into trust, trust into intimacy, intimacy into connection. 5. The ease she feels in your presence. When a woman gives her silent invitation, the tension in her body dissolves. She no longer overthinks her words. She no longer worries about impressing you. She no longer performs. She exists, open, relaxed, present. The feminine blooms in the presence of the masculine, and that blooming is the invitation. She's saying, without speaking, "You don't need to chase me. You don't need to prove anything. Just stay as you are, and I will come toward you." The Stoic truth of the silent invitation. A woman does not surrender to pressure. She surrenders to presence, not to intensity, but to stability, not to pursuit, but to consistency, not to noise, but to silence. When she gives you quiet space, when she lingers, when her energy softens, when her silence feels warm, that is not hesitation. That is not confusion. That is not mixed signals. It is the purest form of feminine desire. She is letting you in without saying a word. And if you stay grounded, calm, observant, and unshaken, her silent invitation becomes something deeper: permission, connection, surrender. A woman doesn't say, "I want you." She lets you feel it, in her silence, in her presence, in the space she creates around you. And only a man who is fully in his center will hear what her silence is trying to say. Now you understand, something most men never will. A woman rarely says, "I want you." She shows it quietly, gently, in the language of her eyes, her voice, her body, her hesitations, her fragments, her silence. Those signs were always there. Most men simply never learned how to see them. But you're no longer in the dark. You are becoming the man who reads energy. Not excuses. Presence. Not noise. Truth. Not fear. You're learning to stand grounded and masculine in the space where most men collapse. Because here is the real Stoic truth. A woman doesn't surrender to a man who chases her. She surrenders to a man she feels safe opening to. A man whose energy doesn't wobble when she tests him. A man who stays calm when she softens. A man who recognizes her silent invitation and meets it with strength, not desperation. When you become that man, you no longer need to decode signs. You simply feel them, and she feels you. If this video opened your eyes, if it helped you understand the feminine on a deeper level, then don't leave without joining us. Hit like to support the message. Subscribe to become the man who attracts through presence, not pursuit. And turn on notifications so you never miss another lesson on Stoic masculinity, silent power, and feminine psychology.